Now over to Krishnan at the Fished Olympic Stadium in Sochi, where the opening ceremony of the Paralympic Winter Games took place a little earlier. Krish.
Welcome to Sochi, where we've been watching a spectacular and colourful curtain raiser for the Winter Paralympics, and they're just packing up the stadium. Vladimir Putin was among the spectators, but of course foreign dignitaries were thin on the ground as the world continued to make plain its displeasure at the Russian military action in Crimea. The Ukraine Paralympic team, who had earlier announced that they would take part in the Games, got the biggest cheer of the night, though only one of their competitors took part in the parade, as our sports correspondent Kamian Zerum reports.
President Putin shook hands and took his seat, with everybody knowing this would be more than just a parade. With athletes from across the world comes attention, especially when Russia is accused by many Ukrainians of illegally occupying their country.
The Ukrainian team had promised some kind of statement, and this is it. Not the entire team, but a single, solitary athlete at the opening ceremony, waving the flag.
Mikhailo Chachenko, nominated by his teammates to send Putin a message. He would walk alone, but for all of them, because they are not happy. It's a sign of how far the Paralympics have come that what happens here is somehow of geopolitical significance. The world's media had gathered earlier to hear if the Ukrainian team would boycott.
Чтобы не началась война во время Паралимпиады.
They met the Russian president last night, urged him to seek a peaceful solution to Crimea. He apparently listened, but assurances, there were none.
If the situation in Crimea or elsewhere in Ukraine deteriorates, will you stay in Sochi?
Если случится некие
If there is escalation of conflict, military conflict, intervention to the territory of our country, and God forbid, the worst case scenario, we would leave. We cannot possibly stay here in this case.
The most enormous ship has just entered the stadium.
Something needs to break the ice between Russia and Ukraine. The Games proper start tomorrow. Ukraine's athletes have pleaded with Russia that the next week be defined by the fireworks of peace and Paralympic spirit. Kamian Zerum, Channel 4 News, Sochi.
And take a look at this. The Channel 4 cameras caught the Ukraine team standing on the sidelines as their flag carrier came in from his lap of the stadium and greeted his teammates. A very emotional night for that whole team, and they are still threatening to walk out should the crisis in Crimea escalate in any form. Well, President Putin's spokesman has said tonight that despite deep differences with the West over Ukraine, he hopes common ground will be found and there will be no new Cold War.